Hey guys, welcome back to F1 2021, the official video game, part something 25 I think, of this My Team career mode journey for Cross GT Racing. Before we start, if you are a returning viewer of this series and of this channel, welcome back. Thank you for your continued support, thank you for watching. If you're new, welcome along to the journey. May I suggest going back and watching from the beginning of the series. You can see all of season 1 and everything we had to go through there, and what has led to season 2 and how we've gotten to the point that we are at right now. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It would really help me out a lot. Let me know in the comments all of your thoughts, just anything you want to comment, just go for it. I love seeing comments come up and replying to them. It's always a really good feeling when people interact and engage with the videos that I put up. But without further ado, let's head off to the facility and get on with the videos. We start preparing for I do believe it's round 9 of season 2. I think we're up to round 9. So let's jump into the facility and see what we need to do. So first of all, we need to renew Nico Rosberg's contract. He's been pretty consistent, so we're going to approach him, and we want to keep him on for the second half of the season. So we're going to make a low offer. We're going to give him that little bit of extra money because we really want him back on the team. So we'll make the offer and we'll get him back on for the second half of the season. And he's declined the offer. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Maybe he wants to go back to retirement. I'm not going to argue with that. But that does mean we have to find someone else to jump into the team. So I think we're going to go back to our original option. Now that we've got Spec 2 chassis, we're going to take a look at Jenson Button. He's only lacking in pace, 3 points on pace to Rosberg, but the rest of his stats are actually higher. So this might be the time we actually offer to him, and it's going to save us about $1 million as well. So maybe we approach him. Low risk. See if he'll come out of retirement and join us. And he has accepted the contract. We have signed Jenson Button, former drivers champion. I can't remember what year it was. Mid to late 2000s, I think it was. But we've signed him on to Cross GT Racing. So in the last race we had an ICE failure. It says we had a nasty ERS fault, but we actually got we had to retire from the race because of a worn ICE. We were doing so well in that race too. That was really frustrating. But it is what it is. We've got $4.5 million to play with, thanks to the $1 million we saved signing Jenson Button. So we're upgrading quality control for the powertrain department. We now got Spec 2 for powertrain. We can now start rushing things there. And with that quality control upgrade, it's we're less likely to have failures, or at least it makes the failure rate a little bit lower. But we really do need to focus on some durability now, because we're only on round 9. And we're already having to jump into some of the last components that we've got for the car.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car, ready for the next race weekend.
Awesome. So we had a couple come through. We had a couple upgrades come through.
The department wants me to pass on their thanks for helping out.
That was a no-brainer. 50k and 750 acclaim. Of course we're going to take the acclaim there. It's only 50 grand, it's not much. We've had some more upgrades come onto the car. So we've got upgrades coming on left, right and centre now, which is awesome. It does mean we're going to be maxing this out soon. We'd have to upgrade to Spec 3, which we're probably not going to be able to do until next season, because those are quite expensive facility upgrades. But that's okay, because we're probably going to need some resource points later on in the season to save some of our upgrades when it comes to regulation changes. But we are going to push forward with a minor weight reduction upgrade. We're going to try and rush that one. It's still going to be on before the next race weekend in the Belgian Grand Prix.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process.
Sweet.
We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Awesome, some more upgrades coming through. That's cool. We've got some extra points. We're going to start off the a major DRS upgrade. We're going to try and rush that one. Either way, it would have been on before Belgian Grand Prix, but if we can get them on earlier, bigger advantage when it comes later down the track. We've put on a new ICE because the last one was worn, so no wear on that one. We're going to put on a new turbocharger as well. So now all of our parts are sitting in the 20% range for I guess component wear. So this car should be running at almost maximum capacity. So this race should be pretty good, and we just get a message as we begin practice. Fernando Alonso, got my letters mixed up in his name there, is looking at retiring at the end of this season. So there will be potentially a big change around in drivers next season, which is always exciting to see which drivers jump to which teams. So I'm looking forward to that. Practice went really well. Jensen jumped straight in and took over where Nico left off. Whole bunch of resource points and a whole bunch of performance boosts and discounts and stuff flowing through. So he's fitting in right where we want him to. And it's only fitting that he makes his return in his home Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Looking forward to seeing what he can do in qualifying and also in the race. But first, we have to tackle qualifying as we head into our best qualifying lap. So we had previously set a 129.018 with purple in Sector 3, which was good enough for second place behind Bottas. The Silverstone track, definitely one of my favourite tracks. I would say it's probably a fan favourite to Formula 1 fans. And the, what they say, the home of Formula 1? Or at least it's sort of, I don't know what the words are, but basically it's viewed as being the home of Formula 1, so definitely a favoured track on the calendar. As we're green through Sector 1, which is a great start. Sector 1, I mean, probably the easiest part of the sector. The Sector 2, but it's high speed, but if you miss one of those corners, it screws you up for the rest. As we go purple in Sector 2, we've gained half a second on our previous lap already. As we come around the long turn 15, we go a little bit wide. We managed to keep within our current track limits. 7 tenths up, or 6 tenths up, heading around the final corner. We cross the line. Purple for Sector 3. We do a 128.4.
We're sat in pole position.
And that run was good enough to give us pole position, and we did it on mediums so that we would start the race on mediums. We got pole on a harder compound. We were a tenth faster than Bottas. That's massive. Those new components we put on the car definitely doing the job. Button qualifies 13th, so he's right where Nico would have been. So we haven't gone forward, we haven't gone back, which is good. We can only improve on that. But we're going to be starting this race from pole position. Let's head off to race day.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula 1 World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone and it's time for the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. The captain lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Carlos Sainz and Hamilton, Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso, Gasly and Lance Stroll, Button, Ocon, Sergio Perez and Russell, Tsunoda, Schwartzman and Guan Yu Zhou and Charles Leclerc. They've taken a grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Latifi, Mazepin and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So a couple of grid penalties there. Perez and Leclerc both having to take penalties, which means Button's now starting in P11, which is even better for our team. Now, because we qualified on the mediums, we get to start on the mediums. So we're going to do a one stop. We're going to go mediums first. We have to start on the mediums, but that means we've got the end of the race to run on soft. So if we can keep track position for the first stint and stay at the front, when we get out of the pits onto the soft, we'll have a massive advantage over everyone else. This is essentially our race to lose now, but with brand new parts, pole position and starting on the medium compound tyre, I think we're going to have a really good run at this one. The start's not as good as I wanted it to be. Bottas ends up jumping us straight into P1. But we've got the inside heading into turn 3 and 4, but he manages to swing it back around anyway. And now he's gaining a lot of time on us. He's already half a second ahead of us. ERS enabled. We've got Verstappen looking up the inside at turn 6, but it turns into the inside for turn 7 for us, so we managed to keep him away. Bottas is slowly pulling away, but we did get pole on the medium, so I am confident that we can sort of keep keep within sort of a decent distance to him for this first stint. What we're going to do is try and maintain this until the end of the next lap, so that we're within DRS range, and then from there all we got to do is follow him along, and he'll just pull us along on the DRS. So we come right up behind them at 12 and 13. And across the line, lap 1 completed, P2. And we're actually maintaining pace to Bottas, even without DRS. We're maintaining the pace. We go green in sector 1, obviously, purple in sector 2, so we're the fastest in sector 2. We lose the back end a little bit. We run wide.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Okay, DRS has been enabled. We did a little cheeky corner cut there at turn 1, but didn't get penalised for it. Stayed within the track limits. We now can use DRS on Bottas. Verstappen is more than a second behind us, so he doesn't have DRS on us. But that Red Bull is pretty quick, and he will be using the ERS to keep within distance of us. Norris is 2 seconds behind us, so he's another second behind Verstappen. So So we're at the front. The top three are slowly pulling away from the rest. But at the moment, it's really only a 2-car battle here. Bottas has got first at the moment, but he isn't pulling away from us. We're maintaining the gap to him. We're staying within DRS range, so even if he does manage to pull away a little bit, we can just reel him back in with the DRS. We go purple through sector 2 again, so we're only getting faster. I mean, there's only lap 3, but again we've proven that we're the fastest through sector 2. We're right behind Bottas. Take a little look down the inside, a big dive bomb into turn 12, and we cut him off through 13. We're back in front again. 3 laps down. Oh, we go a little bit off track. We get a fastest lap anyway, a 1:31.2. Lap 4, we're now back in the lead. Is this move started all the way back. I've got my corners mixed up. All the way back at 15 it started. 16, 17, I've been calling those corners 12 and 13. I've forgotten how many corners there are on this track. That's actually 15, that's actually 16 and 17. But never mind, we get the job done on Bottas there. Big dive bomb up the inside. P1, he's got DRS on us now. And he's catching up at a rate of knots. And he just completely breezes past us on the inside. But it turns into the inside for us. Oh, we touch. A little bit of contact there. Bottas ends up getting out of that okay. We get out okay. Bottas maintains P1. But that was a little bit touch and go there for a moment. But we're still maintaining that gap. We're still keeping up our pace. Bottas isn't going anywhere. Verstappen still outside of DRS range. He's still just over a second behind us at the most. But then it's a gulf between him and Norris. Norris 2 seconds behind Verstappen in 4th. We look up the inside again, and the same move. This time it's much cleaner. There at turn 16, got the corners right this time. Crossed the line. We went slower that lap, but we're back in P1 again. This battle with Bottas, it's back and forward. We've only done 4 laps, and we've already changed the lead. What, 3, 4 times now? Back into DRS mode again for Bottas. He's closing that gap, but we managed to get away from him enough that we can stay ahead. In turn 7 we don't have any issues. Bottas, he's still there, but now he's behind us. We managed to maintain the lead so far. He's catching up to us again, but again it's just not, he's not close enough to make it count. Lap 6 now, we're still in the lead. The gaps are still the same. Bottas is still within the second. Verstappen is still just over a second. The only cars that are dropping pace is basically from 4th down. It's everyone else. The top 3 we're maintaining our pace. The rest are slowly starting to fade on their soft compound tyres as Bottas makes another move. And he gets around. So we try to go up the inside again, but again it doesn't work. We do manage to touch tyres, a little bit of contact there, and again Bottas pulls away, so another lead change. But with Bottas being on the softs, his tyres will be starting to wear now. He hasn't been able to capitalise on the changing compound, and he's still, as we go too fast, we have to brake. That's going to cost us some time. And it costs us a position as Verstappen now flies ahead of us. But we're still within DRS range. Oh, it's just a straight sprint now. We've got that little bit of pace over Verstappen. We give him the inside, and we spin back around to the outside. We're going to do a dive bomb here on Verstappen to get back into second. The same move that we've done on Bottas twice now. That is probably going to be our main overtaking area. That dive down into turn 16. It's worked really well so far. Verstappen half a second behind us now. Lap 8, it's extended out again, so Verstappen now back to being more than a second behind us.
For a new strategy option.
And we're back right behind Bottas.
Got that confirmed.
So tyre wear is pretty good. We're going to stretch this stint out an extra lap. We're going to stay out until lap 15 this time, not 14. And we get DRS on Bottas. Verstappen is now only 7 tenths or 8 tenths behind us, so he'll be in DRS range as well.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
That's fine, we're doing pretty well so far. And with the tyre wear upgrades we've got, it should help to sort of prolong any issues that we will have with the tyres. It is now a sprint for the top with the top 3. I mean, Verstappen's back to over a second behind us again. We're half a second behind Bottas. The gap to Norris is now 4 seconds. So they're slowly falling behind, but there's just massive gaps everywhere. The grid is now split up into the 3 of us at the front, then another group behind us, and then there's a middle group, then the back group, and then it's Nikita Mazepin, all by himself. Which I feel like this game's really harsh on him. I don't know what he's like as a driver. I haven't really watched Formula 1 extensively in recent years, so I don't really know what Mazepin's actually like as a driver in real life, but I feel like this game just really takes him and just throws him further down the back. But that's not our concern. We're not thinking about last, we're thinking about first. Lap 9 and we're still right behind Bottas. He cannot shake us. Even with the softer compound tyre, he cannot shake us. We're just maintaining pace with him, constantly getting DRS. Anytime he starts to gain any kind of gap on us, we make him pay with the DRS and we jump back ahead of him at turn 16. It's a bit messy this time round. We get the job done. We're beginning lap 10 back in P1. Verstappen now, he's still only a second behind us, which means he is within DRS range of Bottas. So that will not be good for Bottas, or even good for me. It puts him right back in the fight now. Not that he was ever really out of the fight, but now he's going to be a much bigger factor in it. DRS range. We're all got DRS on each other, well, except for me. We managed to get ahead of Bottas. Verstappen is now right behind me. Sorry, Bottas gets ahead of us. I don't actually know what I said. I was too busy looking at the numbers.
Stay with him, he might make a mistake. He could still regain the position.
So Bottas jumps ahead of us, and Verstappen now pulls right up behind us. Half a second now the gap to Verstappen. Oh, we get a good run there out of turn 9. It's now the top 3 following each other through the S's. DRS again. We've got DRS on Bottas and we're towing along Verstappen, who's got DRS on us. Getting right up behind Bottas. We're going to make a dive down the outside this time after a good run out of 15. Bottas comes back up the inside at 16, but it turns into the inside at 17 for us. We managed to pull back in front. We go wide, but we managed to keep it together. Back into P1. Now the gap between myself and Verstappen is half a second with Bottas sandwiched in the middle. Oh, this battle's heating up. I don't even know how many times the lead's changed now. These tyres must be absolutely screaming now with the amount of force we put on them to try and stay ahead of Bottas, and he uses the DRS to get in front of us again. And Verstappen is even right there. Can we go up the inside of Bottas this time? We do. We go on the grass. We go a little bit off. We just cannot maintain the speed touching the grass. Bottas gets back in front. What a race this is turning out to be. And we have to remember that these two guys that are with us, They're on softs. They will have to be boxing soon. Hamilton boxed last lap. I can only assume Bottas will be boxing very soon. Either this lap or maybe even next lap. Verstappen will have to be going in soon as well. I don't know what these guys have got in terms of tyre upgrades. As Verstappen dives up the inside of us at 15. And we come back around the outside of him. Bottas is into the pits. It looks like Verstappen is also heading into the pits. Now we have some time to breathe. It's been 11 laps of hard battle. But finally it eases up as Bottas and Verstappen both enter the pits. Carlos Sainz is staying out now. But the gap to him, 4.5 seconds.
Jensen is coming in for his stop.
So Jensen Button now pulling into the pits for his first stop of the race. He is, what they say, 22 seconds behind us. And it's just the gap to Sainz is, I think it's slowly closing. But he's on soft. He'll have to be boxing soon as well. Perez is on softs as well. I'm assuming he would also have to be pitting. So Sainz has gone into the pits.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
So lap 13 now. We still have a stop to make. I'm assuming everyone's going to be doing a one stop because they're all changing to mediums. Perez is now into the pits to go into mediums as well. We have a 26-second gap to Bottas. If we can somehow try and extend this gap, or at least maintain a decent gap when we go into the pits onto the softs, hopefully we won't have lost much track position. All we got to do is maintain a decent pace, and this race will be ours for the taking. Lap 15 now. We're going to be heading into the pits this lap.
Like we might have an issue. Hang in there. We're attempting to manage it.
How can we have an issue? We've got all new parts. Well, relatively, like, you know, newish parts. But hopefully it's only a small issue. We have had plenty of times where Jeff's called us and said that there's an issue and it ends up being something small that is easily fixed, or it's just something that affects the power of the car. But we have a decent gap. We're going to be going on to softs. So we still have a massive advantage. Bottas is now making his way around turn 17.
Go now.
Oh, that was a good pit stop. 1.8 seconds as Bottas comes past us now, and Verstappen, Norris and Hamilton are probably going to need the best of us as well.
Look after these tires now.
But we're now on softs. Race is on. We come out in front of Sainz. We've got plenty of time.
Okay, looks like a mechanical failure. We're going to have to ask you to find a safe spot to retire. Sorry about that. Again,
You've
find somewhere safe
got to be
stop.
kidding me.
We need you to retire.
How? What could possibly have failed? We were in the box seat to win this race. We were dominating this race. Bottas couldn't shake us on soft. We started on mediums. We had a massive gap heading into the pits.
Confirm you're okay, please.
And now it's all gone thanks to another mechanical failure. 2 weeks in a row we've had mechanical failures force us to retire. In this race here, this was our race to lose. No one was going to take it from us. The only people that were going to take it from us were us.
Plenty of action here at Silverstone. It was a memorable race, and what an impressive victory. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Well, that is hard to watch. That should have been us up there on the podium spraying the champagne. We were set to win that race. We had 11 laps to go on softs. We had a whole softer compound ahead of everyone else. But mechanical failure forced us out of the race, and even our teammate got forced out as well. Jenson Button failed to finish in his first race back in Formula 1 in front of his home crowd. So really not a good race or a good day for Cross GT racing. That is frustrating. Well, on the bright side, we haven't dropped position. We're still P9 in the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton still in front. Bottas now jumps into second. He's now tied with Verstappen. They're both 41 points behind Hamilton. So it could be a pretty good battle in the second half of the season for the Drivers' Championship. As we take a look now at the Constructors' standings, we now drop down below Alpine. They've now jumped ahead of us by 3 points. We need to get that position back, and I know we can. We just can't have mechanical failures like we had today. Mercedes still in front. Red Bull 61 points behind now. They've dropped quite a bit. McLaren probably now out of the hunt for the Constructors' Championship this season. That is frustrating. We had all new components, or relatively new components in the car, and yet somehow we still have a failure. I don't get how that works. But it is what it is. We've got to look ahead. Take a grid penalty in the next race, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It would really help me out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, now let's take a look at these parts. Yeah, we know you had an issue. What part was the issue, though? You have got to be kidding. It was brand new. 46 laps. Are you kidding me?